And welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am excited because it's spring. And of course, with spring, we're thinking about spring cleaning. But what about our wellness? Which is why I have America's favorite doctor. And that's what you should follow on Instagram, Dr. Laura Purdy. Dr. Laura, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to get to chat with you.
I am too. But before we get into the wellness, what made you decide to really focus on wellness? Because I saw your, career from the military, and of course you're a mom and you do so many things. But what made you decide to focus on wellness?
Well, what's really interesting is that undergoing a career in medicine, we learn how to cure disease. And just because someone is healthy, it doesn't mean always that they have a good state of wellness. We can cure someone of every disease or condition that is plaguing them, and they can still not be well. And when I was getting out of the military, I focused a lot on veterans who were like wounded, ill, injured, and then processing out of the military, and wellness, which includes everything from food, sleep hygiene, exercise, even like spirituality, social connections, intimacy is those are all the other segments, and health is of course important, but it's only one segment of wellness. So I feel like we do a better job of helping people when we treat all of those areas and prioritize wellness, not only health.
Mm. So, in your experience, what are some of the things I guess we do that really kind of contradicts? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to have a healthy life, I want to be well." But what are maybe some of our habits or routines that just like really go against that principle?
What I like to tell people, and I think this is really important, is that wellness is different for everyone. And for example, all those things I just mentioned, how important exercise is to you or how important social connections are to you. And everybody's balance is different. If you listen to external pressures or voices that tell you, "Oh, this is what you should be focusing on," then you're going to miss it. You're going to miss what your heart, your mind, your body, your brain, um, your desires. You're going to miss what's important to you. So I think that when we work with people on wellness, it's important to help them first get in touch with themselves and say, where do you feel like you're lacking? If you feel like you're lacking in an area of your wellness, then that's where you want to shift some of your efforts or your energy. And I think a lot of people find that even just little changes, like, for example, maybe it is exercising more. Maybe it is spending more time with friends. We feel better when we prioritize those things that are important for us.
What you said is different for everyone because that's the same thing with a lot of times when we look at what people are eating. I'm like, it's different for everyone. I says, yes, I still enjoy a lot of the foods, but I've learned just not to bring them in my home, Dr. Laura, because that's when I overdo it. But if I'm out, like if, we're hanging out and all of a sudden, there's some like maybe chips or maybe something, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to eat some, but I necessarily would not bring them in my home. And you're right. Even about the exercise, I had to really change my thought process because I realized it's important for me to exercise, but also I have to do something that I know that I'll stick to. So I finally found a routine that I can stick to 6 days a week. I also realize I can't do the same thing every day because I get bored. So you're right. You have to create something that's for you and also your wellness and your health needs. So, with that in mind, we're in a new season. And of course, the winter time, depending on where you are, that season sometimes we're indoors a lot more. And of course, we eat those, I guess, comfort foods. So, what are some of the things as we go into the spring, with the spring cleaning? What are some of the things maybe we need to do in regards to wellness and spring cleaning?
Ooh, well, spring cleaning, you're talking about your house, but I do think it's also a good time to think about that with your body and your mind and your spirit and your social, everything, right? Winter tends to be a time, even in places like where I live, which is in Miami, there still is a period of time in the winter where maybe we are less active. Maybe we are, the weather keeps you inside. We're focusing on the holidays, which is typically externally focused. You're thinking about other people, travel, maybe gifts, maybe events. Everything you're focusing on is out here, right? Kids are out of school if you're a parent, and you're thinking about that. So as you move into the spring, I think it's a great opportunity for us to reconnect with ourselves and say, how am I feeling while you're cleaning out your closet? Maybe you're cleaning out all your all your clothes in your closet. Get back in touch with yourself and say, okay, really, where am I at in all of these areas in my life? Where do I feel? You can feel it. You can feel it. Sometimes it's in the pit of your stomach or in your heart, or you can't get something off your mind that you feel like you're unhappy or unsatisfied. And we can do this spring cleaning in our lives, in our minds. Are you surrounded by all the right people? Are you engaged in all the right activities? How's your schedule? Are you saying yes too much? Do you have clutter in your life, in your body, in your mind, in your heart? Where's the clutter? And as you're thinking about getting it out of your house, right? Let's do that with our lives as well. It can be a spirit of spring cleaning or decluttering, or it can be a season of full decluttering and really moving yourself towards wellness.
I like what you said. And when you said that, Dr. Laura, it reminded me of a friend who is going on what she calls a sabbatical. She says, Jan, I'm still going to work, but I've decided I'm not going to do the tours at a museum anymore. I'm not going to be involved in a couple of book clubs. I'm just really going to really focus more on me. And I like that. Like, what areas do you need to really do some spring cleaning? Because sometimes I believe that when you do focus on the areas you mentioned, then it makes it gives us like that energy we need to actually focus on the physical clutter as well, because a lot of times they're both related too. So thank you for sharing that. So okay, did you listen, listeners, and those of you watching? Spring cleaning may be just looking at your life, sitting down. So Dr. Laura, with all that you do, I'm sorry, did you want to say something? Because I saw you.
I'm just gesturing, just like right here. I'm with you right here.
So with all that you do, I mean, I saw all your beautiful children, and then of course your pets, and then of course all the things you do for your, your career, but also in the community. How do you stay organized? Because and I ask you that because everybody looks happy, and I think sometimes people feel that okay, if I'm organized, I'm gonna have to get rid of stuff. But you look like just from the pictures that everybody is happy because they're like just really at a place where, yes, we are happy, we're together, but sometimes people feel like they got to give up stuff in order to be organized.
Well, I'll tell you a little secret about me. I am not very organized. This is not
Okay.
I'm not. Organization is not and has never been something that I'm very gifted at, even since childhood, which is funny because my mother is very organized and it didn't come to me. My oldest daughter, extremely organized. I am not. And what I've learned as we talk about looking at all those areas of our lives and facets of ourselves, what I've learned is that I need help, right? So within my business, within my company, I do have executive assistants, administrative assistants. Somebody manages my calendar. There's a lot of tasks that I have been able to kind of delegate to other people, which frees me up to focus on the things that I'm good at and where my gifts and my skills and my talents are. And I know that that's not necessarily something that everyone has access to, right? Like not everybody can get help, except for the fact that you can. There are ways that you can look online and say, how do I make my bathroom counter more organized or something? There is help out there. There are people like yourself, like other books, resources, and ways that you can say, okay, I admit not very organized, but how do I seek out the people who are and the resources that can help me? And you can actually be, and I feel this way too, you can be empowered. And I will tell you, for the maybe disorganized people out there, routines can help. So getting into routines, knowing where things belong, everything having a place. For me, these things are important because it helps me to solidify that in my mind, and I can give the illusion or appearance of being more organized, but really I'm learning from those who are putting systems in place and then trying really hard to stick with them.
Always loved to do because my mother did it, was always entertained. Well, that's just something that just overwhelms me. It scares me. The thought of just putting a menu together was just like shut me down. And then one time I decided to just step out because a mentor said, Janet, you know, you really don't have to cook everything. You can get it catered. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. And I did that. And I invited my best friend over. And then I saw she came over early. She set everything up. She even put mints on the table. So now I'm more empowered. Like you said, I have the help. It's like, okay, this is a day I would like to have a party. Are you available? Can you come over? Can you help me? Can you set up? I'll have all the food and everything else you need and whatever other, little decorative items. But can you? And she's like, of course. So you're right. Sometimes we do need that help. And I think that is part of living an organized life is knowing when you need the help. I know someone who is in that sandwich generation. She's, a single mom with a son, but she also has her father living with her. She decided it was an investment for her to have somebody come in and clean. She said that way she can spend time with her son. So thank you for sharing that because sometimes we do need help in order to live that organized life. So, Dr. Laura, I could talk to you all day, but how can people connect with you?
There's a few ways you can connect with me. I do have an Instagram, which is at America's Favorite Doctor. I have a website, drlaurapurdy.com. And if you want to say hi, or if you have questions, if you want to become a patient in our virtual clinic, we can help you work on your wellness. We'd love to see you. We'd love to talk to you.
And of course, all of you watching as well as listening, I will have all of the ways you can connect with Dr. Laura on the show page. Well, Dr. Laura, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today.
Thank you for having me. And I hope everybody found something that they can learn from what we've talked about today. I'm excited to continue pursuing my own spring cleaning.
Me too.